Hey everyone, welcome to Sattui's Wine of the Month Club cooking video for January. Today we'll be making a kitchen classic, Dungeness crab cakes, paired with our 2022 Tre Uve Bianco, aptly named after 3 white grapes. We have Chenin Blanc, Albarino, and Pinot Grigio. Let's give it a taste. Oh, it smells lovely. Getting notes of ripe nectarine and very floral pear. Oh, smooth, refreshing, and just a delight sip after sip. Let's get to cooking. Cheers. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to brunoise some vegetables. We're gonna start with some celery. So how I like to prepare it in my home, take a little potato peeler, and we're just gonna peel the outer layer, and that's gonna help de-string our celery. That way, this doesn't end up in our food. What we're left with is a nice meaty piece of celery with lots of flavor and no stuck pieces in our teeth. Starting from the outside, we're carefully gonna take our knife and we're just gonna glide down and we're gonna plank out our celery. Very carefully, very controlled, until we get nice little batons. So we're just gonna snake right down the celery. That's just gonna give us a beautiful little dice. So now we have beautiful batons, and we're just gonna slice them as thin as we possibly can, watching our fingers. Nice thin sliced celery. What we're left with is a nice, gorgeous cut. Now, started on a bell pepper. We have a beautiful yellow bell here. I tend to go for the yellows a little bit more because they're just a tad sweeter, I feel. We're gonna nip the top. We're gonna come back, you're gonna nip the bottom. Try to keep it one piece. So from here, we're gonna make a nice quick slice through the bell pepper itself. From here, we're going to go in that slice and very carefully, always watching our fingertips, we're just gonna saw our knife very carefully, and we're gonna rotate out the pepper as we do this. And what that's gonna do is we're gonna remove the ribs until all we're left with is just gorgeous bell pepper. So now we have our peeled pepper. We're gonna go ahead and slice it one more time, make it a little more manageable. And we're very carefully gonna square it off. We're gonna take our knife very, very, very carefully. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna nip the ribs off. What I'm doing is I'm moving my hand in a very slow jigsaw motion. I'm always being conscious of what's going this way, and I have my blade angled slightly downwards. And then once that, you're just using the weight of the knife to push it against the board, and we're just micro sawing it across. Now we've removed the ribs, and what we're left with is a meaty pepper. We're gonna do it one more time, and we're going to just very carefully, once again, knife angled down towards the board, being very conscious of our fingertips. We're just gonna micro saw just below, and we're just gonna keep pressure down so we have a nice flat surface to cut against. But we're always angling that knife away from our hand at all times. Doing so, we were able to remove just the skin, and what we're left with is literally just the meat of the pepper, and it's gonna absolutely make our crab cakes so much better. So we're gonna go through, once again, batonette, nice thin julienne, and then we're just gonna fly through it real quick and carefully with our blade. And we're just gonna get this gorgeous tiny squares of perfect yellow bell pepper. All right, next we're going to clean our picked crab. We got some Dungeness in from Washington State. Absolutely gorgeous, has a great flavor to it. Always taste your crab first to make sure you understand the salinity levels. If it's too salty, just give it a quick 20-minute soak in some clean cold water, and that'll help wick out some of that extra salt. If it's not salty enough, we can fix that while we mix the crab cake. That's perfect. So as I go through it, I like to tray it out. And the reason why is that as I go through it, you'll find little bits. It's part of the shell and the chitin. You just want to make sure that you remove these because they're not great eats and they will be tough and undigestible. All right, now that our crab's clean, let's get to mixing. And just dump this in. We're gonna add our mayonnaise. We have Japanese Kewpie mayo, which is just gonna have a little less acidity. We're gonna add some Dijon mustard. We're gonna add our diced bell pepper, add our celery, add our other bell pepper. We have a red bell here. We're gonna add some lemon zest, our panko breadcrumbs, our chopped parsley. We're gonna add some Old Bay. We're gonna add some Espelette chili. It's gonna have a real nice heat signature to it. Our salt. We're using kosher here. We're gonna add some Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, and we're gonna give that a light mix just to kind of incorporate across and to begin the mixing process. Oh, it smells fantastic. So now that we have it relatively mixed, we're gonna kick in our egg, and we just have 3 eggs beaten. Gorgeous. All right, our mix is homogenized. We're ready to shape into cakes. So now we're going to portion and shape our crab cakes. These are what pastry rings were made for. What I'm using here is a 4-ounce scoop, and then just pack it into the cup. We're going to scoop right into the mold itself. We're going to use a spoon, and we're just going to kind of tap it down, and we're going to make sure we have good edge-to-edge pressure and a good compression on our crab cake. We're going to gently press with a spoon as we slowly lift the ring, and we'll get a nice impression on the crab cake itself. Perfect. All right, what we're left now with is a perfectly formed crab cake, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put this into the freezer, just kind of firm it up just a tad before we bread it. So we have our tempered up crab cakes. We're just going to pull one real quick, and we're going to go straight into our panko breadcrumb. What we've done is pulse the panko in a food processor so it's a little bit finer, and it'll just kind of help fill in any grooves and cracks and make a more even bread coating. So straight in, give it a little berry, nice little compression from the outside, very delicate. We're going to extract, and from here, we are going to go into rice flour. Now, rice flour is one of my all-time favorites to have on hand. The reason I like it so much is that anything fried is going to get nice and crispy. It's going to have a much better feel because of the rice flour. And it's going to fill in any gaps as well, just like the smaller panko. And we're just going to get a better crumb on the outside. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's ready to go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide it onto our parchment, just like so. All right. Let's do a bunch more. All right, let's get to frying. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a pan fry. I've got a induction ready pan here. I'm going to add some clarified butter. Just enough to kind of put about 1/4 inch in the bottom of the pan. The nice part about butter is that it's going to both contribute to both flavor and browning. We use clarified so that we don't burn our dairy solids, and what we're left with is a better product. These are pulled from the freezer. We have the dusting of the rice flour. We're going in carefully, watching those fingertips. And we're going to turn our heat up just a little bit, just initially, just to get the oil hot and get it going. All right, now we've noticed some beautiful browning around the edges, which means our bottom is complete. We're going to go ahead and very carefully flip it over. Absolutely gorgeous. Careful, watch those fingers. And we're going to take it the rest of the way. So from here, we're just going to pull our fat, and we're just going to angle our pan so it's touching our heat, but we're going to move our crab cake further away from our heat. The reason why is we want to use the fat to cook it the rest of the way. Just need to warm and toast the base a little. We have a nice selection of towels to our right. Watch those fingertips. So going to plate, we have got a few tricks up our sleeve. We're gonna make a little quick whipped creme fraiche, and take some, put it into a bowl that I put into the freezer about 12 minutes ago. You just wanna chill it out and make sure it's nice and cold. And we just need a couple of spoonfuls. I did about 3 tablespoons or so, about a half cup. And just go to town. What we're looking for is to create some volume. It's gonna get really loose, and then it's gonna start to get thick. And we're just gonna put this in the freezer for about 4 minutes, just to help it kind of stay cold. All right, next we're gonna make a quick little micro salad. I have a mix of micro cilantro and micro arugula, and we're gonna hit that with a little bit of our pecan oil. It's fragrant, it's nutty, has a great scent to it. We're gonna just drizzle some lemon, just for a nice acidic punch. And this will go very, very, very well with our crab cake. And just a nice whisper of salt here. We're gonna stir that by hand, just lightly, kind of aerating as we go. See how we're doing. It's good. All right, so now we've chilled our creme fraiche. It's a lot more cohesive and a lot more likely to build on itself with a nice ice cold bowl. So you see how we have nice soft peaks. It's just gonna be a little more palatable to what we're going for here. Now for our favorite part, plating out. We're gonna start first with our creme fraiche. It's been lovely whipped, nice and pillowy. Nice little mount down. Take our spoon, we're just gonna swoosh it out. From there, we'll bring in our crab cake, nice and toasty, still fried. And we'll settle that in. From here, we have our trout roe. And we're gonna be just a nice generous portion here. It's gonna make the whole dish. And a nice little ploosh right on the top. And that'll just give us a beautiful vegetal component here. And a nice acidic component to break it up and play well with our entire dish. There you have it. Bon appetit. Now for my favorite part of the show, let's give it a taste. Get a little bit of this creme fraiche here, some of our salad. You get the richness from the creme fraiche. You get the richness from the buttery crust. The roe adds a really nice kick to it. Crab has spices and flavors. Nice acidity and vegetal from the salad. Honestly, this whole thing plays very, very well. And then you just get this smooth, luscious fruit from the Tre Uve Bianco. Thanks for watching. Cheers and Happy New Year.